Hi, everyone. Kartik Krishna are here for Beyond the 90. Hope everyone's having a great summer. Hope you're staying dry. Hope you're staying cool and hydrated, considering how warm it is throughout the country. Wanted to give everybody an update on our proposed Reforming Soccer Conference. And again, that is a working title. We rolled out plans to do this earlier in the summer. We've taken some concrete steps toward making the conference happen, including beginning to put together some proposals. George Paisley, who's had such thoughtful ideas about the future of the sport in this country, he's taking the lead on that, but he's got some people helping him on that. Our plan now is to have that proposal or that benchmark. It's not really a proposal, but it's a benchmark of where we want to start with the conversation about calendar change, promotion and relegation, a unified soccer pyramid in the United States. We want to roll that out. We want to have that done in August and sent out to those of you who we anticipate will want to participate in person or via a video link. We're going to have to do that as well. Obviously, there are many of you who've said you want to be part of this, but really don't think you can travel. And we've basically narrowed down the places where we probably will hold the conference to the Southeast. There are 4 cities in the Southeast: Charlotte, Jacksonville, Orlando, Atlanta. Those are really the possibilities. Potentially, maybe we go out to the DFW Metroplex. I'm thinking maybe we do that in a follow-up, perhaps next year, maybe during the World Cup. So there are many of you that have expressed that you want to be part of this, but don't really feel like traveling. That's great. That's still fine. You can contribute. If you are interested in being involved in this conference, whenever we have it, and we're now thinking it will be in the late fall. So what has happened is that many of you have expressed that you're in the middle of an intense USL League 2 season, NPSL season, or League for Clubs season, or USLW League, WPSL, right? Those 5 leagues, summer leagues. I know how tight and intense it is. In fact, we launched a podcast on this channel, Crossbar Challenge. We're going to revisit the podcast, but it was the wrong time to launch because the people we wanted to interview and talk to, they were all in the middle of their seasons. And if you've not been around summer leagues, it's Saturday, Wednesday. It's really intense. You have quick turnarounds. So a lot of those clubs, their seasons are ending. So their owners, investors, employees, staff can be more involved in this process now. So we're excited about that. We're excited about getting them involved, as well as some of you who are involved in USL Championship and USL League One who want to be part of this and are in the middle of your seasons and say it might be better toward the end of your seasons, playoffs, or maybe as USL Cup happens. So we've respected that. And I think it's probably been better for us because now we can put together some benchmarks and not just go into a room and say, hey, let's talk about what we do with the game in this country. No, we're going to have some clear benchmarks, some clear ideas that we can discuss, debate, reform. It's a reforming conference. Reform the ideas, work on the ideas. Also had some interest in the conference from those of you who read Beyond the 90 in Canada and Mexico. And that's really interesting and exciting. And I know the game in Canada very well, but this is a conference about American soccer, about the United States, I know America is the whole hemisphere, so people sometimes get very defensive when I say America or people say America. It's about the United States. So love to do something about the Canadian system, which I think has some equally strange quirks in it that restrict Canada's potential in the global game. I'd love to work through that in the future, but this specific conference, this specific proposal is about the United States and unleashing the potential of American soccer. So let me give a summary. We will have something in writing in terms of our benchmarks by the end of August. Those of you who have expressed interest in being part of this between now already or between now and the end of August, if you get in touch with me, you will have access to that document. If it's not going to be a wildly public document, I'm not naive. I know things leak, so it might get out there. But that'll be our benchmark. Once we do that, we will figure out the logistics of where we do this. Do we do this on a random weekend in a random place? Do we connect it to a match? That's where the Charlotte and Jacksonville ideas have come in, or linking it to specifically to the USL Super League and to matches in that league, or do we just do it not connected to any matches? And again, if you were at the conference in Chattanooga in 2018, if you were at the conference in Boca Raton in 2019, this is a follow-up to those with more concrete ideas. And I think this is it's important to have people from both the men's and women's game. Although I think the pyramid we look at is going to specifically be the men's game, but it should be replicated on the women's side. So it's not just the men's game in the United States, it's the men's and women's game in the United States. I don't mind talking about the amateur game also in the United States. I think that's very, very important that we talk about not just adult amateur, which we do talk about a lot, but colleges, semi-pro leagues, regional leagues, all of that. And again, in terms of Canada and Mexico, it's been more from Canada than Mexico. In the future, maybe something, but right now, the U.S. is plenty to bite on. And there are Canadian teams in the U.S. league system. That's something that maybe will change in the future. But at this moment, obviously, MLS is still in Canada. USL was in Canada. I could do a whole video about the selective bias of CONCACAF in booting USL out of Canada, but letting MLS stay up there. And obviously, I've had my own experiences with dealing with Canada from my time working in the NASL and dealing with the governance issues of cross-border leagues, which is not as much. It's not fun. It's not like the NBA or Major League Baseball, because they don't have international governing bodies, right? It's a little different in football, football, when you're dealing with FIFA, you're dealing with CONCACAF, and then you have Canada soccer and U.S. soccer to deal with. And dealing with neither is a peach, right? So they're not... I guess there's more competence in both those federations than there was 15 years ago when I dealt with a lot of these governance issues. But still... So that's the update, and we look forward to people participating. If you want to participate, get in touch with me. My email is my first name dot last name, KARTIK dot KRISHNAIYER. That's my whole name, at beyondthe90.net. Really important, beyondthe90.net. It's not .com. We don't have the .com domain, unfortunately. That's why, even though we have the .net domain, I continue to have the Substack menu option. Or it's still because people are just used to .com. So if we get .com at some point, which I want to, then the Substack will be gone. Right? It'll be beyondthe90.com. Beyondthe90.net, you can actually type into your web browser now, and it redirects to beyondthe90.substack.com. But I found, just from my own personal history, when I've had website domains with .us or .net or something, .biz, I had one at that. People always think it's .com, and so I just decided to stick with the Substack, even though we do own the beyondthe90.net domain. So my email is at beyondthe90.net. Remember that. My first name, last name, at beyondthe90.net. Thank you. Continue to have a great summer. A Jägermeister Cup weekend, finals weekend in the League for Clubs, finals weekend in USL League 2, finals coming up in NPSL. So a lot brewing, a lot happening.